and welcome to AlphaTV's special holiday edition. Well, work continues in December as we anticipate the great tradition of Christmas. This month, we have a report on how our team helped with recovery from Hurricane Harvey in the Houston region, along with some exciting news about the transition in our safety department. We also have some advice on winter safety and a very uplifting report on Alpha's financial performance this year. But first, here's Jonathan.
Hello, my name is Jonathan O'Hara and I'm the president of Alpha Building Corporation. On behalf of everybody here in my office, we'd like to thank you for all of your hard work this year in helping Alpha to continue to grow and prosper. We'd also like to wish you a very Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. So take a moment to enjoy the season, and let's also give thanks for our many blessings.
Welcome to AlphaTV. Today, we're here in Conroe talking with the folks that managed the recovery of the University of Houston downtown one main building from the ravages of Hurricane Harvey just 1 year ago. The building itself sustained damage on up to 19 feet of water, and it took 3 days for the water to recede. I asked these people to talk to us about what their roles were and how did they manage that and get this building up and going again. So let me start with the guy in charge, Brett Grothe, the senior project manager. Brett, how did you prepare for the possibility of a hurricane coming through Houston?
Well, first thing we did is we all started calling our customers.
Okay.
All through our area and making sure if they needed anything, what they needed and when they would need it. And then I called corporate and said, look, we know we're going to get work and we're going to need some logistics and getting sheetrock people, money, and everything else that we thought we might need. And Jonathan started, just helping us mobilize those in the beginning.
And I hear you also had to talk to Dan.
Yeah, well, after the storm, we knew what we were doing. We need to make sure that Dan could free us up some money in order for us to get started, because when the storm came through, it knocks out all the banks and everything. So you have to be able to draw on some cash in the beginning just to be able to pay out.
And the circumstances in Houston when you were trying to get mobilized, what was going on?
Well, the roads were flooded, the bios were still out. There was police blockades into certain parts of town. You couldn't even get into U of H downtown. No. So until we were invited, and we couldn't even go down there. And once you got down there, it was, no parking, no nothing. It became a logistical nightmare just getting things into there, just to get started.
Randy, I suspect that a lot of that logistical nightmare fell on your plate. Tell me, what was your role with this recovery?
Well, I was a project manager on the job, so I dealt with logistics of getting everything from materials to subs to bids to anything else we needed on the job to get it there and get it going. There was some very difficult things to get there, particularly because there was no defined scope. It was hard to plan ahead. You just kind of had to plan as you go. We had weekly meetings in which we would try to plan out the week's work with the owners. Sometimes it worked well. Sometimes it didn't work so well. Things changed in the middle of the week.
Well, what kind of obstacles did you have to overcome?
Well, the lack of scope was huge. Because as they would sanitize and clean an area and clean it out, then we would have to go in and start. So what we had to do was wait for them to get done, and as soon as they got done, then our scope would get defined. So now we're looking at what are our long lead items? What do we have to do here? And then, so how many different areas are we working in at one time? Because as we move ahead, the long lead items don't get done. So now we have to turn around and come back and work in that area again. So just to keep moving forward and not lose track of what you haven't done was pretty difficult at times.
I heard you use that word, lose track, and I think that now brings us to Diana. Tell me your role with the Harvey recovery.
Administrative side. I kept up with the paperwork, the receipts, the billings, Alpha's normal paperwork for every job. But then there was different paperwork that had to be turned over to UHD because of FEMA, and they needed to receive their funding back. So I started a log on the very first day to keep track of everything. And I kept in contact with the project manager so that he was able to tell me what they expected in the end to get reimbursed. Certain things were going to be covered under FEMA, and then the school would cover the other costs. So constant contact with your project manager and a log is very important.
What kind of items did you enter in your log?
Daily employees, their names, the dates that they came, the subs that they worked for, their trades. Pictures of all the work that was done daily had to be emailed, not only to the school but also to the police chief. I had to keep up with all receipts, materials, items, anything that walked through that door we needed to keep track of.
Wow.
Yes, ma'am.
Just in setting that up, it
Yes.
took a lot of thought.
Yes.
What would you recommend for administrative management of something of this size going forward?
Have contact with your project manager and have a very good contact at the university, the owner, and make sure that y'all are on the same page of what he expects, paperwork wise. It's not, this is a normal job, but then it's not a normal job because the paperwork is flowing so fast. So just see what he expects.
And Randy, what do you think really worked well for making this happen and within Alpha to pull it all together?
I think the reason this job was as successful as it was is because of our teamwork. I think that we just pulled together and did what we had to do. We would become interchangeable. We would be superintendents, project managers. Anything that needed to be done, we did. There was, if I couldn't make a meeting, Rhett did. If we had other duties, because we had other jobs going on at the same time, we couldn't do everything all the time. So we had to swap around, and it worked. It worked well.
What would you recommend to a project manager that has to face this kind of situation?
First, get the lines of communication open to corporate. One thing we haven't mentioned much is we had an open line with safety, and we owe, I basically had them on speed dial. And when we run into something, we could get them here, or they would look up what we needed. They helped get our subs training on some stuff. So that was a huge help to us because, I mean, everybody tries to put that off because they're doing what they consider their job. But it was something that we needed on this one. Also, just making sure that you stay in constant communication with Jonathan, Dan. For me, it was Andy, and, making sure they know what you need. And if something falls down on their part, that you can call them and say, look, I know y'all are trying, but we got to pick it up a little because now we're starting to drown. And it all worked out. Everybody worked together. You just need that help. And then you just got to depend on the people working for you that, because you can't be everywhere at once. And so you got to put your faith in them and make sure that, that they have everything they need.
So, rely on your team. Start your paperwork from the beginning. Keep in touch with corporate and keep them apprised of what you need to be successful. This project is especially special for us because Karen McEntee wrote up the story, turned it into South Texas Associated Builders and Contractors, and a couple of months ago we were awarded an Eagle for excellence in construction for the way these people handled the Harvey recovery. And in the next month or two, and actually I think later this month, we're going to be submitting it to Associated Builders and Contractors National. And I fully expect that we're all going to go to Fort Lauderdale and receive a Pyramid Award for their efforts. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your help today. This will be valuable for our future management.
What's up, guys? It's me again with another valuable update concerning the QC Safety Department. Last time y'all heard from me, everyone knew Ron had retired and the QC Safety Department was operating as a one-man show. And for those who I've been working with closely with the last month or so, you could probably tell. Alpha has some good news. Tony Rice will be coming out of retirement and joining the QC Safety Department the first part of December. Tony has been in construction industry for over 30 years and has worked at Alpha for over 11 years as a superintendent and a construction manager. His knowledge in construction and safety will be valuable as Alpha continues to grow. In the next few months, Tony and I will be visiting project locations and introducing him to the staff. On a different note, let's talk about winter weather and driving. With winter on its way or has already arrived in some locations, Alpha wants to remind our employees about cold weather driving safety. Statistics show most injuries during winter storms, 70% are a result of vehicle accidents, while 25% result from being caught out in the storm. Although Alpha cannot control roadway conditions, we can promote safe driving behavior by following a few simple tips. Reduce your speed. The best accident prevention on snow and ice is to slow down and leave plenty of room between you and the vehicle in front of you for emergencies. Practice good winter driving techniques. Keep your gas tank full. Turn on your headlights. Keep your windshield washer fluid full with the approved fluids and keep winter driving chains in your vehicle. Have a winter survival kit, which includes flashlights, hand warmers, first aid supplies, extra clothes, high energy snacks, and bottled water. Be familiar with your owner's manual for special instructions on driving four-wheel drive vehicles or vehicles with ABS on snow and ice. Plan ahead and be patient. Delays are common during bad weather. Leave a little earlier and be patient with the delays. Pay attention to weather forecast. Winter storms can become severe quickly, so stay tuned to weather forecasts when planning your trip. Don't use cruise control. Never use cruise control when the roads are in slippery conditions. Know your current road conditions, and last but not least, wear your seatbelt and make sure all passengers are also buckled up. For those employees who drive when there's a possibility of a winter storm and dangerous road conditions, it is important to be prepared. Alpha wants you to be safe while on the job site, but we want you safe on the road to and from the job site also. Thank you and have a safe and productive day.
Happy holidays, everybody. Dan and I just wanted to take a minute to show you one of the new metrics that we are now tracking.
For the past couple of years, we've been digging into our results to identify the information that gives us a good overview of the health of our company. One of those data points is revenue per field employee.
On the screen, you will see a graph of the revenue per employee since the end of our 2016 fiscal year. That year, we ended at just under $500,000.
In 2017 and 2018, it climbed to $620,000 and nearly $675,000 respectively. This year, we're expecting to end our fiscal year at over $600,000. These are solid numbers.
We wish everyone a safe and prosperous holiday season.
And thank you all for your hard work.
Merry Christmas.
Well, that's it for December. We hope you all have a wonderful Christmas season, and we look forward to bringing you our next report in January. Stay warm and be safe, and we'll see you next year.